I think like my new version of wellness is, how do you create the best environment for your mind, body, and soul with what you have in front of you and the resources that you have access to?
Life is all about relationships. Lovers, family, body, or money. How satisfied you are can be completely explained by how you relate to things around you. This is Sophie Jaffe, and together with my husband, Dr. Adi Jaffe, we are here to explore and teach you how to maximize your relationships and achieve a happier life. Let's get ignited.
You know, we talk a lot about meditation and mindfulness and how important it is here. And we had Jonathan and Seven Mind on just a couple of weeks ago. And I think it's really important to give people simple tools that make a practice that for so many people is so scary, easy to do. And Seven Mind does exactly that by making it easy, by making it simple. Jonathan, who you guys heard on the podcast,
go back and listen if you missed it. It's so inspiring. He's a beautiful man, inside and out, just saying.
Oh, snap.
I'm just telling the truth.
All good. Get it, Jonathan. Really simple, you know, with his nice little French accent. He walks you through how to sit up and how to meditate, how to close your eyes, how to just really step by step, which is really beautiful. And one of the nice things that I found about it is not just the simplicity, but then once you get past the first intro to how to meditate, he has specific content to focus on self-love, on empowerment, on the affirmations that help you reshape your brain, reshape the way you think, right? Do so much of the stuff that we talked about, change the perspective you have in the world.
And it all comes back to loving yourself. It all comes back to feeling whole within yourself. If you feel whole and love towards yourself, the world is good. You are in a really great place if you start the day after meditating, feeling connected to yourself in your best place.
Absolutely.
And the Seven Mind app, the best part is that it is free to download and you can try it out that way. If you want access later on for all the courses and to deepen your practice on focus, self-love, and confidence, you can use our code IGNITED, IGNTD30.
That's all caps for Ignited.
Ignited30 to get 30% off your annual subscription, and then you can unlock all the amazing content.
Yeah, and we've got the link in the show notes for you below. Check it out. Check out the interview with him. Seven Mind is awesome. Go get some. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Ignited Relationship Podcast. My name is Adi Jaffe.
And I'm Sophie Jaffe. And today we have a really fun podcast with Chinae Alexander. It happens to be Women's Health Week. Yes. And we feel that Chinae is a really great fit for this episode and for this topic this week because we're covering lots of really interesting topics today, from body positivity, listening to your intuition, honoring the balance of it all as a woman, and really tuning in and listening, from literally looking in the mirror and asking your body, your skin, what it needs today, to just following in and tuning in to what your body's trying to communicate to you, not chasing the media, not chasing influencers and what other people say to do and buying all the books about what to eat and how to eat, but tuning in and quieting all of those voices and really honoring who you are in this phase of your life. And that wellness isn't about the shit you buy and filling up your pantry or your bathroom with all this expensive stuff, and instead tuning into really basic things. Have you moved your body today? How's your mental health? What are the thoughts that you're thinking? How are you filling your body nutrient-wise? Those really basic things can really shift your day, and you don't need really expensive things and to shop at Erewhon Market and to go to Soul Cycle. You don't need that. You could also just go for a 20-minute hike outside in nature.
So you can be healthy as a man or a woman and not eat $18 pints of ice cream?
It's not a full pint. Let's not get crazy. It's about like 2 tablespoons. No, I'm just kidding. If you've ever come to LA, Erewhon is definitely a place to come for comedy. And yeah, that's about it.
I mean, no, they have high quality food.
No, they don't.
Too, but it's
very expensive.
I mean,
insanely expensive.
It's like if you shop at Whole Foods and you think they're expensive, then you just got to go to Air One a couple of times and recalibrate what expensive is to you.
It's just if you drop into Air One, you see what's wrong with the wellness space. That's all I'm saying. And in regard to what we're talking about, there's also
consumption piece.
The consumption piece and how expensive things are. And like the same box of cereal that's at Trader Joe's is 3 times the price at Air One. It's the same box of cereal.
This notion of exclusivity based on how much money you spend instead of how much you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
We know people who are incredibly stressed out about eating the right thing all the time, which makes their life just miserable.
It's consumed. And just want to say, I haven't shopped at Air One in several years. Like maybe I'll drop in when I have to, or like a friend's in town and wants to go, but I don't go there anymore and I'm healthier than ever. And I can shop anywhere now. I can shop at Trader Joe's. I can shop at Ralph's. I can shop, they have organic produce at Ralph. Like you can shop anywhere and still have a vibrant existence. Like,
I mean, it would suck to say, I'm just thinking about what if we said for a moment that like wellness, that eating well and taking care of yourself required you to spend thousands of dollars a month on groceries.
But that is what our society, not our society, that is what our wellness space has become, is the beauty products are $100 a jar for, it's vitamin C cream. A serum is $75. It's just crazy. And like these facials are $250. And I'm part of the problem because I'm promoting these products. However, the evilness is not just in the products. It's knowing your own body, stripping away all of that, and then seeing what your body actually needs and craves and works well with. Like a body cream that works well on you may not work well on me. I may break out. So being really intuitive to what actually works, spending your money and budgeting for a few nice extra things. Maybe you get ClassPass and then you can go to a bunch of fun classes. Maybe you splurge on one nice yoga outfit that inspires you. And then next month it's something else. I'll splurge on that one serum for my face. Instead of thinking you need all of it at one time, that you need to subscribe to a certain diet, a certain way of eating or looking. That's not what wellness is.
Yeah, I can't use your body creams. I'm just not into them.
You're an
personally, I was trying to think of which one I could point out
you
doesn't
guys,
fit.
You guys.
And I literally have no idea.
Take some serious patience to be married to this one. Okay, I'm going to read a really awesome review-ish from Instagram DM that someone left. It's actually I'm going to leave it anonymous because it's
a private message.
It's a direct message, so I'm not going to.
So we love you.
So we love you, person.
Your name.
Thank you so much for sharing this. It's refreshing to see that we all get drained and feel like our creativity is low. Working in design, it can feel like creativity has to be, quote, on tap and ready all the time. I appreciate you and your openness and you seeing the beauty in all of this. Learning from you, parentheses, and ignited, how to up-level and manifest into where I want to be with myself, work, fiance, has kept my mind so fresh and positive. Fiance and I have been having amazing therapy sessions, and listening to you and Adi outside of that has helped my perspective, patience, and understanding of him. Sorry for the length, but thank you for all that you're doing.
No sorry for the length.
No sorry. That's what I said.
Bring it on.
Never. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we get comments like that all the time. I get DMs every single day from you guys. Keep them coming. Please screenshot. Send people over to our podcast if there's something that inspires and resonates with you.
Yeah, I talked about that on my Instagram Live this morning. You guys sharing and talking to other people about what you're getting out of this gets the message out. And guys, that's why we do this. The reason we sit down, the reason we hired people to help with this is spread the message. I even hear in what we've been talking about and this person who just shared with you, we talk about wellness and we drink the thing that we're told to drink and we go to the kind of classes we're told to go to because that's what everybody says to us. That's how you become healthy. But we're staying stuck in jobs that we hate, or we're unfulfilled in relationships because we don't have the conversations that we need to have.
Or you're even just stuck in a mindset loop where you're saying that you're fat and ugly, or you don't deserve something, or you're not worthy of X, Y, and Z. You're still going through the motions and spending the money and going to all the biggest, best, therapy, therapists, and you can spend the money, but if your heart's not really in it and you're not really doing the work to change what it is that the problem is, to get into the nitty gritty of what the issue is, then all that stuff is just fluff.
Well, and if you're not being honest and transparent about what is really happening for you, then none of those tools are being applied the right way.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, I get this from people all the time. They'll DM me things or talk to me about things they haven't talked to their therapist about. I go, what the fuck are you paying your therapist money for?
Right.
Like,
just chit-chatting.
You do not need to make your therapist think that you're good.
No.
That is literally their job. And by the way, as somebody who works with people all the time, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't need to fluff up my ego by telling me I'm okay. I'm okay. That's my job to take care of my life. Your only responsibility when you go to your coach, when you listen to the thing, when you read the book, is to absorb what fits you and then let go of the rest of it, and not have to believe that you can only wear, name your favorite yoga brand clothing, and that's the only way you get to go to yoga class.
No,
that's
switch the script around.
Yeah.
We also wanted to share a concept that Adi learned and was really inspired by while you were away at one of your conferences. One
of your favorite conferences that I go to. Sophie loves when I go to conferences and I get really inspired. Oh, you love the inspiration part.
Yeah.
You I go to aggro, like in your face, jump up and down conferences.
Whatever gets you going,
Yeah.
So can you share the concept with everyone?
I can. I'll tell the backstory. So we live in a beautiful place. With literally a landlord who is
an angel.
Has the same, she's an angel, but she has the same name as I do and was born on the same day,
and year.
Not date, on the same day that I was born in Israel. So same name, same exact day in the universe, born.
Of birth.
That's when we met, and I found that out the day I was looking at the place.
I wonder if, like, hospital-wise, I wonder if you were like in the same how many hospitals in 1976 were there in Tel Aviv?
Well, I think we might need to find that out. But I mean, I don't know if she was in Tel Aviv. We got to find that out. But in Israel, which is, by the way, a small motherfucking country. So that's a pretty small, that's like going to New Jersey out of all the United States, like being born, but it's out of the entire world. So same name, same birthday. When I found that out, we had to get the place. So we live in this place. It's gorgeous. It's a 4-bedroom, townhouse, tiny front yard. We don't even have a backyard. And that's kind of the thing that bothers us about it. But honestly, blessed, right? Amazing place. We've been here for 2.5 years. Love the place.
Love our neighborhood.
The kids play around all the time. It's gorgeous and it's amazing. And we're just outgrowing it. Because when we moved in here, it was you and I and 2 kids. And when you have 4 people in a 4-bedroom apartment, not a problem. And the kids had a shared room, and they had a playroom, and we had a guest room on top of it. It was amazing. And the place is awesome. So
a lot has changed in 2.5 years.
Well, if you count moving in, childcare, and having another baby a lot, then yes, a lot has changed. Now,
and both of us working from home full time.
Yeah, that's right. I used to work in an office.
Energetically, yeah.
So now we've maxed out this house, and so we've been looking at different things, and it's tough out there, y'all.
Especially
shit's expensive in LA.
Especially in big cities.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
it's not as bad as San Francisco prices, but it's pretty bad.
Or New York, but we went to North Carolina for this reason, because it just got to this place where it felt like it would be impossible to find what we wanted here.
Yeah.
So we went and looked around, and Sophie, while we loved Raleigh and what it had, Sophie was like, I can't be this disconnected from my people. I need to stay in LA. So we started looking in LA, and Sophie found this place, this house by serendipity, found this house that she fell in love with. And so we were in conversations with the owner when I went away to this conference. That's the setup. And I'm sitting at this conference, and even though this conference is an online marketing conference, it's very purpose driven, which is why I'm attracted to it. And this is Funnel Hacking Live connected to ClickFunnels. We'll have a link for you guys if you're in the entrepreneurial space for that as well. But there was a speaker on stage, and his name is Myron Golden, and he's one of the coaches in this program that I'm part of. And he was just talking about mindset kind of stuff. And during this talk, Sophie sends me a text. And just so you guys understand, everybody listens to our relationship, and they get what they want out of the relationship conversations that we have. But I'm sitting at this talk. I'm in Nashville. Sophie is here. I've been gone for 2 or 3 days. And the text I get is a screenshot of Sophie giving a 60-day notice to our landlord for moving out. I'm going to pause this story for a moment, and I want to explain to y'all exactly how this is working out. So I'm not here. Sophie didn't say to me, hey, should I give our landlord notice that we're moving out? No, we were talking about this house, but no discussion about when are we going to move. and I get this text. And at the same time that I get the text, the guy on stage is talking about the difference between having choices in life and making decisions. And he said the reason a lot of people are not successful is because they're trying to figure out what the right choice is to make. And a choice is when you have, like, you go to a restaurant. Man, restaurant examples are really making it into my world recently. You go to a restaurant and there's the menu and you go, should I have the steak or the chicken or the salad? Or maybe I just feel like having a few appetizers. You have a choice of what you want to eat. A decision, and the way this guy's explained, is the opposite of an incision, right? An incision is a cut on inside. You sever something on the inside. You incise. A decision is when you cut something away from you that is external. And the way he's explaining it is when you decide, you cut yourself off from any other option. And what happens in the universe then is you now have to figure out how to be in that decision, because the other choices are no longer part of the equation. So, I'm trying my hand at this career, or I might start this business, or I might want to move to Spain. I have these choices. It gets you confused. It gets you uncertain. It doesn't get you on track to making any one of those things happen. When you make a decision and you say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm moving to Spain next year. Your brain, your body, and the universe have to start figuring out how to make that thing happen. But it has to really be a decision. It goes along with this line that Tony Robbins has, which is, if you want to take the islands, burn the boats. Because if you don't have a fucking way back, if the decision has been made, you'll figure shit out. And you'll figure shit out that you have never thought you could figure out before. So I'm sitting So I'm sitting, Myron is speaking on stage. I pay a good amount of money to be in this high level coaching program with these people. So I'm like the third row or the fourth row out of 5,000 people behind us. And Sophie just texted me this thing of we're moving out of our place. And I'm like, fuck. All right, I guess I'm making a decision. And I told Sophie, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Now, this is why some of you might be sitting there going like, well, why is this a big decision? The big decision is this is 2.5 times the rent that we're paying right now.
Yep.
So I want everybody to stop for a moment and think about what it would feel like if somebody told you tomorrow, like, cool, you pay $3,000 a month in rent. How about 10? Yep. Like, can you do 10? And most of us go, fuck no,
absolutely not.
I can't. And what I realized was that, we went through a similar thing when we moved to this place. We were paying $2,500 a month in the valley for the house that we were living in, and this was over $5,000. It was more than twice the rent we were paying before. And we were freaking out about it for 2 months, and then our life leveled up. What I realized is life presents you with the ways to do the things that you demand of yourself and the people around you.
Yep.
So we now don't even think about this rent because it just became part of how we live. And Sophie leveled up, and I'm working towards it. But at the end of the month, if when push comes to shove, the money shows up. And so in that moment, we made the decision. And the end of where the story ends up at right now is we actually are not getting that house, at least not in the near future. We're still potentially maybe talking to this person, etc.
It let us know.
But it changed the level that we're playing at because we stopped looking at things that felt meh and like, well, maybe we can move to that house, but we don't really love it. We just stopped looking at that shit. Because what we really, edit that out, please. What we realized is that it's much more important to find something you're dedicated to and then go all in and you'll figure the rest of the shit out than it is to live this mediocre life that feels like, oh, all right. I mean, I don't hate my life, so I'll wake up this morning and do what I need to do. And instead to feel ignited. I mean, that's the point of what we do, right? So Sophie and I talked about it through text and through some phone calls the rest of that week when I was away in Nashville. I talked to other people about it. And because I was able to talk to other people about it and just live in that space in my head, when I came back, the notion of owning a $2.5-3 million house no longer was a fantasy because I had to figure out, I had to pretzel my own head into figuring out what that reality would look like. And I tell this to the people I work with all the time. If you go through that exercise, if you close your eyes and imagine the story of what the success looks like on the other side, your brain has now had to figure out some pathways to that world. And so in the context of health, in the context of well-being, in the context of taking care of yourself, the big picture lesson is stop looking at all the choices you have and make a fucking decision. And then just move forward towards that decision.
Life is just too short. Like, it flies by. The fact that I have an 8-year-old, an 8.5, almost 9-year-old is insane. wasn't I just pregnant with Kai? Like, time is crazy.
But he's like 8.5 going on 14.
I mean, let's be honest, Kai has always been 85 years old. If anyone knows Kai, he is 85 years old. But my point is, it flies by.
Yeah.
Why sit around half-assing shit, living a mediocre life, not jumping all the way in, not leaping, jumping? And that's what we said. I was like, why would we not hold hands and jump? That's every other great decision we've ever made has come from that place, that trust. What are we afraid of? We're fine. We are fucking fine.
Yeah.
We have families that support us. We have great jobs. If these aren't successful, guess what? We'll be successful in the next thing.
I remember even thinking, because we talked about this, I remember thinking to myself, so I have this exercise I do with clients sometimes, that is, what is the worst case scenario?
Yeah.
And ironically, most of the time when you think of the worst case scenario, it's not that crazy shit you've been saying to yourself in your head. It's much less than that. And so our literal worst case scenario is we would have to leave that place behind and then like move in with your parents for a couple of months while we figure shit out. And
worse. That's the
and
worst.
When I say that out loud, it doesn't even sound that fucking bad.
It's not that bad. Live with my parents in their house in the Hollywood Hills with their pool and like their cat. What? It's fine.
And so the reason that exercise is important is because when you understand where your backstop is, you can go, okay, that's as bad as this is going to get. But now what is the positive side?
Yeah.
And, you know, again, I talked about it this morning on Instagram. Stop shooting for things where the end goal is being all right. Because if you're failing or you're finding yourself repeatedly not reaching a place in life that makes you content and happy, that's the reason. Who the fuck wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm going to work my ass off to just be kind of okay today?
Yeah.
Nobody does.
No. And even like bringing it back into our interview today, that's what we kept coming back to is like the most important thing is experiencing joy and happiness, whatever that is, whether in a party phase in your life and you know, and you're intuitively connecting and genuinely happy about being in that phase in your life in a celebratory way. Whether you want to lose weight, gain weight, whether the goal is just to be healthier, whether you want to eat pizza tonight with your family or best friends and drink beer, like if it is a place of bringing joy as a woman or a man, as a human being, what can we do more of in our lives to be all in, to experience joy? And that's really, I mean, I feel like this episode's perfect for this. And we go through a lot of fun examples, but overall, that's the theme is like, life's too short. Do the thing that brings you the most joy.
Absolutely.
Leap in.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to leave you for this interview. We'll see you on the flip side. Enjoy this, absorb it. Happy Women's Health Week. And live your best life, guys.
We're here to support you.
Bye.
Bye. This episode of the Ignited podcast is brought to you by Philosophy Superfoods. The Philosophy offers cleanses and other nutritional products that are unlike any of the other supplements and detoxification programs on the market. Why? Because they actually nourish the body with whole, live, nutrient-rich foods instead of depriving you and leaving you hungry. Have you ever tried a cleanse only to find out that you can't make it through a whole day because you're starving? Ever try a superfood shake that made you nauseous because it was so disgusting you'd rather not eat? The Philosophy fix all that with a simple set of offerings that load up your body with nutrients while actually tasting good. Makes sense, right? Each of the Philosophy superfood and protein blends is vegan, raw, gluten-free, and has absolutely no filler ingredients. With over 15,000 satisfied customers, including some of the world's biggest celebrities like George Clooney, Gerard Butler, Lea Michele, and over 10 years of experience, this is the best stuff you can get. To buy some or find out more info, go to our website, thephilosophy.com.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the conversation component, the conversation piece of what we do here at Ignited. We've got Chinae here with us today. And so my guess is we're going to be talking a lot about body positivity, about wellness, about owning your best self. But let's just let you kick it off for us, Chinae, and tell us a little bit of your story. Introduce yourself to the Ignited family and tribe and let us know what you're about.
Cool. My name is Chinae Alexander. I have been doing wellness influencing, I guess. I don't even consider myself really a wellness influencer. Let's just break that down. I call myself a social entrepreneur. And so I've been working in the social media space for probably about 4 years now. It happened totally accidentally. I literally was just doing a job interview for ClassPass, and I was like, I had no experience. So I was like, I'll start an Instagram account that has to do with fitness, and they'll at least see I have some sort of interest in this beyond, just being like interested in my head. And they were like, you have 300 followers, you have no experience, do not work here.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't. And what was crazy is that then I started growing a following. I was, on the side doing Instagram, but not as a profession, just as a fun thing that I liked. And I found it very compelling to talk to people all over the world about just checking in about their fitness and wellness. And now my account has moved much more into a lifestyle space. So I talk about everything. I talk about diversity. I talk about body image. I talk about entrepreneurship. I talk about wellness. Talk about pretty much anything under the sun. Speaking of my son, I have a new dog named Dingo Buttons, and he also is featured heavily on the Instagram now. I'm a new dog mom, so that's something that's happening. But yeah, I really want to bring a realistic, real girls way to do wellness. And I felt like I wasn't finding that. And so it's transitioned into a lifestyle account with a wellness bent, but it all comes with a dose of like badassery and kind of like not giving a fuck.
I love that. I've been in the wellness space for, more than 10 years now. And I'm a raw food chef and a yoga instructor. I was a spin instructor. I was a personal trainer at Equinox. Like, I've been very heavily a part of the wellness sphere in all different areas for a long time. The better part of my adult life, my entire adult life, really. And it's gone through phases, but I think that that's the thing that attracted me to you is like, there's people in the wellness space, and then there's people in the wellness space that speak truthfully, authentically, don't give a fuck about just being real. Like I went to In-N-Out the other day with my kids and our friend and like had a burger and fries.
What? You ate fries? I'm fucking out of here.
And had a milkshake.
We will, editors, please cut this out of the final podcast. We will not admit to eating out at In-N-Out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
She also ate dairy. So, wait, I have a question for you. I know this is a podcast where you interview me, but I'm going to interview you a little bit too. Because, yeah. What do you think is the thing? What is the number one wellness thing that you hate the most? That's like, is around or like is in the atmosphere now or has come and gone? Like, what's the thing that you're like, I can't fucking stand this thing?
I wonder if I'm going to guess the right thing.
Only one. There's so much. In the most, like, just right now, it's celery juice.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
It's just annoying. It's obnoxious. People are stupid. Like, we've all been like, if you're in the wellness space, you've been juicing green juice forever. Like, it's literally no different. Except it's so much celery. I tried to do it one day and I was like, I am using so much celery. This tastes bad. I don't want to do this. And like, I don't want to start my fucking morning out this way. This ruins my day. Yeah, like my gut might be like happier. I don't even know what it's supposed to do, make you like shit properly. But honestly, I'm just unhappy and I want food. So that, honestly, that is the key that's what annoys me the most is that people will deprive themselves in the wellness space, limit themselves, starve themselves, be part of a diet or a way of eating or, whatever it is. And they don't actually like it. They're not actually happy. So they're punishing themselves, whether it be through their workouts, like banging their bodies. Like I went to a Barry's boot camp class yesterday. And by 30 minutes in, I was over it. I was like, this is too intense. This is not like where I'm at right now energetically, and maybe tomorrow I will be in that space. But yesterday I wasn't. So at 30 minutes, I kind of quit class, but I stayed in the class. I wasn't like disrespectful. I just didn't go at the speed they asked me to. And I just listened to my body. And I think that would be so refreshing if more people did that. And
totally.
I think that is the most obnoxious thing, is people that come into the space, whether they be quote influencers or experts, and say that this is the way you should eat. There isn't one way that everyone should work out or one way that everyone should eat.
No.
So can I ask a question? So I know Sophie's version of how she got to this place. You've been on your own journey. What was your journey from somebody? First of all, what was your journey for somebody who wanted to get to work at ClassPass? Like, can you walk us through that a little bit?
Right.
Because people were fed stories of what we should behave like all the time. What was it like before for you? What created the transition, and what is it like now?
Yeah. So I have a very probably like not a wellness journey that people would like write novels about. Let's just say that. So I think that's kind of like if I could, if I could write like a little like mini headline for myself, I'd be like the bad girl of wellness, because really like I, started out, like I probably started gaining weight when I was 16 years old because I had a car and I was like, fuck you, mom. I don't have to eat your shitty food anymore. I'm going to go out and party. And I was like partying very heavily in high school because I was like fun. So I was a fun person that
I think that's a quote from today's podcast, because I was like fun.
Because I was like a fun person. So yeah, I like ate and drank. I lived near Mexico. So we went to Mexico 4 days a week to go to clubs, and I had a great time. I really enjoyed my high school experience, and then I really enjoyed my college experience too. And like, we thought Taco Bell invented fourth meal. They invented something called fourth meal there was a marketing campaign about fourth meal.
Yep.
I invented fourth meal. I invented it before Taco Bell invented it. They did not. They owe me money. Just kidding. I love you, Taco Bell. It's my favorite fast food. But basically, I was partying a lot. And I had a lot of friends, and I didn't struggle with like feeling bad about myself or feeling socially weird or being self-conscious. So I was like in it. So I definitely did fourth meal pretty much every night that I was partying. And I'm not saying that lifestyle is good, but I'm saying that I am glad I had that lifestyle.
You had fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It was in college. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. For all the college students listening, I do not condone binge drinking, but I did do quite a bit of it. So basically I gained a lot of weight, but I was very happy with myself. I always thought I was kind of the shit. I like never had trouble dating or having friends. I got into the sorority that I wanted to, which is like funny now because I'm like not a sorority girl type. But all that shit was important to me at one point. But I was also, in addition to fourth meal, I was smoking cigarettes. I was tanning every day in the tanning bed. I would sleep with my makeup on. I find like fake eyelashes like in my hair. It was but like, I loved it. It was like this character that I was like, I love you. You're so fabulous and you don't care about anything. And then I moved to New York and I started to care more and not necessarily care about my weight. Weight was never really an issue for me. So I never was like, wow, I want to change my body. So how I started on my wellness journey was, I was starting my day out with like a bacon, egg, and cheese. I would do a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. And then I would do veggie cream cheese also. So it would be a thin layer of veggie cream cheese with bacon, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel. It was and an iced coffee and a pack of cigarettes, and I would get it delivered.
Perfect.
Well, perfect.
Yeah.
So you had your veggies. It's like all 4 food groups. Well, 5 with the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Guys, there was vegetables, there was dairy, there's protein, there's carbohydrates, there was coffee. Is coffee a food group? And then I also, I hear that coffee beans are good for you. So I had that. And then the cigarettes were just an added bonus.
So legumes, you had legumes and you had cigarettes. Perfect.
That's right.
I hope Michelle Obama is not listening, because this does not qualify as that plate that she created.
Michelle, I was 22 and I didn't know what I was doing. So anyway, I was living in New York by this time. I was 225 pounds. I thought I was the shit still. But I was at a baby shower with my guy friend, and we were talking about fitness and whatever. And we kind of like challenges. So I love a good bet. I love a good challenge. I'm a highly disciplined person. And so we kind of were like, well, we should just try to eat healthily and low carb. I was eating low carb at the time, which actually I really like for my body, and it gives me a lot of energy. I'm not maniac about it. I just I was leaning real heavy into bread at that point. So, and not that bread's bad, but bread at that time for me to lose a significant amount of weight was kind of something I had to cut out a little bit. But I kind of ate low carb and started working out. I started working out by going to the library and checking out Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding.
That's
because I was like, fuck running. I'm not going to do that. Yoga wasn't as big then. It wasn't as big in my circle of friends. Yoga's been around for a long time. I get it. But I don't want people are like, yoga is an ancient tradition. How dare you? I'm here now. Don't, people, I backtracked. I corrected myself. Don't leave comments. Anyway, I loved learning about fitness. I loved learning about the body. And so that's how I got interested. I had to engage my mind to engage my body. Yeah. And I still do that. I still like to challenge my mind and my will when I'm working out. So I basically, throughout my wellness journey, I lost 70 pounds. I did that over a span of 3 years. It was I really enjoyed the process of it. But then, I got to my kind of smallest point, and I was really unhappy with my body, to be honest. I was the most self-conscious I'd ever been. I was the most in my own head because I'd become obsessed with progress and showing up. And that was kind of after, when I got to my thinnest point, I maintained that for a while. And that's when I started doing Instagram. And I didn't like that I felt this constant pressure to fucking be have abs. I've never had abs in my life. I think I had an ab one time. I saw it in SoulCycle, and I was like, oh! And then it went away because the lighting changed. But I was like, this is just not what I want. I don't care about this. I never cared about this. This was never the motivation for my wellness journey. And I actually wrote an article for Well and Good about this, about how I was more unhappy at that time in my life than ever. And so I was like, how do I get my sanity back? How do I make this fun again? How do I enjoy wellness again? And so I didn't slack off, but I pulled the reins back in a major way. I was like, I'm not going to not go to someone's dinner party or bring fucking food with me. That is so fucking lame. Why would you ever do that? Or, I wasn't enjoying myself out with my friends. And I'm just like, this is no way to live. So I stepped back.
Can I ask a quick question? So, sorry, you had something too big, but two things that I caught. First of all, the part of your story where you even said that it took the 3 years of doing something to get that substantial weight loss. I think that's important for people to pay attention to. We get so caught up in these ideas of fads and, well, how can I lose 50 pounds in the next 3 months? And then we do things that are really unhealthy for our bodies because your body's not supposed to go through that. And then in addition to that, you're not putting in habits and you're not changing your diet. You're getting on a diet, which is a very different experience. Right. Because now what you're saying is you were able to loosen the reins a little bit, but you had a different way of living and eating and existing. So my guess is loosening the reins a little bit, letting them go, gave you more freedom, but still you were probably living in a different wellness space than you had been in 3 years earlier.
I think also it's you have when you're early 20s, you've only been an adult for 5 seconds. So the better part of your early adult life was spent losing that weight. And so all of this, you were focused. You said you were very disciplined. You were focused on this one specific thing and then you achieved it, but it's not like you had a plan for what happens then. It's not like you had a safety of transition. Oh, wait, I now achieved that goal. Now what? How do I switch gears? How do I live my life as this person to, yes, maintain where I am now, who am I? What decisions do I make? Now I'm not trying to limit this and that and this and that. And it's not that you were necessarily going through a deprivation, but you do have a different mentality when you're trying to lose.
Yeah. And you know what? What was so strange is like, I never actually cared about weight loss. That was like the thing. I really was like, I want to figure out how to like be a healthy person. And for me, like the weight loss was kind of like a symptom, not the goal.
Yeah.
And it was
great.
funny, but I do think that is how I've been able to maintain a healthy relationship with myself. I became obsessed with progress, not weight loss.
Okay.
Because I was trying to like beat myself. And also I found it to be like a little performative for like Instagram and stuff like that, of like everyone's going hard. And I think everyone was in that moment of like 2015, we're doing side by sides, we're doing transformation photos, like we're doing all this stuff. And the thing is I think that can be highly motivational. And I think it can also at the same exact time be highly toxic.
100%.
It's like this culture of comparison, not only with others, but yourself. And then you're comparing your compared self to someone else's. And it's just like, it's exhausting. And so I think what I was feeling was just like that 225-pound confident woman came back in and was like, whoa. Like, this is never something that you struggled with. Like, let's go back to that person. I gained 15 pounds back of like sanity weight. Not because it had nothing to do with the pounds.
Right.
It had to do with letting myself have a life, and not that 3 years was still fun. And I actually really enjoyed like working out that much. And I really enjoyed what I was eating. I never felt deprived in that part. I more so felt like I didn't like the mentality of like the stress that came with getting off a disciplined track for a second.
Yeah.
And that's just how I am. I'm just a type A kind of Virgo personality that's just intense. I'm an intense person. Like I'm a minute by minute kind of girl, and I can be loose and fun sometimes, but most of the time I'm like one track mind. And so for me, it was really battling my perfectionist personality and letting go a little bit more than thinking about 15 pounds of sanity weight being the goal. It was more like, Chinae, loosen up, because you like, how nice would it be to, lose, 70 pounds, but then you fucking die of stress.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize how much stress affects their body.
It is really stressful. So I've had 3 kids now. And each pregnancy and birth, I healed a different part of my dysfunction when it came to food. So with Kai, I healed through that process, seeing the transformation and the change and the beauty that is growing a human being in your body, birthing it, and then there actually being a baby on the other side, being just so fascinated and with the female body. And with that, I healed overeating and just like this negative relationship with food. And then with Leo, who's 2 years younger, I healed like body dysmorphic and thinking like I needed to be, a certain thing, 118 pounds and all, very specific. And I was very
I think I don't weigh myself, but I think my leg weighs 115 pounds. I'm not positive. Anyway, moving on.
So that was that. And I had this idea in my head about, who I was in college when I was the most emaciated, unhealthy, obsessive about food, only did cardio. That's the weight that I was. I was actually depressed. We went through a breakup and during that time, and I was super depressed. And I remember I was assisting a friend who's now amazing country music singer, Stephanie Quayle. I was assisting her at the time. We had broken up, and I was helping with their daughter who was 15 years old, and we could share clothes. And it was not cute. Like she was already really small and like a string bean. And we were sharing clothes, and I was, I think 21 or something. And the point being, that's what I kept comparing myself to. Like I'd have a baby, I need to get back to that 118. I have to get back 115. And That's not my natural body. I was in a depressed, unhappy, I wasn't cycling. I didn't have a period. my body was unhappy. It was stressed. And I was obsessed with that number. If I went up to 120, it was like, oh, I clearly need to like stop eating all these things. It was such a bad cycle. And the minute, this is what resonated for me, is the minute that I realized, even right now, my weight is no longer the focus when I have that extra 10 pounds on. And I'm happier, truly full of more joy and happier in this body right now, 10 pounds more than what that is. Truly. I don't think about it. I go to In-N-Out when I want. I weigh myself 4 times a year. And it's just because it's like there, or I go to the doctor or something. It's not because I'm thinking about it. Like, oh, I wonder how much I weigh today. Like, it's such a healthy, beautiful, healing relationship with my food. And it's so positive. And I'm 10 pounds more. And it's like,
it's amazing what that 10 pounds can do for you.
Yeah. It really, truly.
Yeah.
That's
Sanity
beautiful.
weight, man.
Sanity weight. I love that. I love that.
I've never struggled with weight. Well, that's not true. I struggled with weight when I quit drugs.
Yeah.
But that was because I'd gotten to a ridiculous, I never cared about the weight, but when you use a lot of drugs, uppers like I did, you get really, really skinny. So I was down to like 125 pounds, which is insane.
So scary.
I mean, literally 35 pounds lighter than I am right now.
He's petite. But
and then I'm a big, muscular.
He's huge. I'm looking at him right now, and he's
I'm taking
huge.
up the whole screen because Sophie can't even get in.
I can't. Hello, where are you? Hello, I can't see you.
So then I went up to like 180 almost when I quit drugs, and that's a big swing. It's like a 70-pound swing, like you talked about. And so I had to get healthy for the first time because the drugs were not causing the weight loss. But it's interesting. You gave yourself this like freedom weight. I still, when we go out to dinners, like in my head, I've written off dessert essentially at restaurants. And I realize that oftentimes, even though I want some, I don't allow myself to have it because I'm somewhere in this range of, and like I talked about it, there's a good way to look at it, which is I've figured out what feels good for my health, for my body. And, let's be honest about it, eating a shit ton of dessert at restaurants is probably not exactly the kind of place I'm trying to go to, but I'm also very strict in the way that I work through things in my own body. And so it's like, I can either allow it or not. I haven't really quite found the way to, well, I guess I allow it very rarely, but I haven't found a way to really just let myself have the flexibility there, because there's this fear inside that if I start doing it a little bit, the next thing I'm eating a Cheesecake Factory and I'm just skipping the meal. I'm just going like, can I get 2 slices and just bag one because I'm going to have it when I get home.
That's also the beauty of what we're talking about, is that you can get to a place where it doesn't take over your heart and your mind. It actually, you just enjoy it. And if you're really, truly like, proof is in the pudding. For years now,
we never want to eat pudding.
Which I don't eat because I won't let myself have pudding. That's the whole point.
When you're in LA, I'll make you.
But you're not.
No, I'll make you a good
Okay, you guys like pudding? Okay, you're pudding people.
No, I'll just make you.
Who is? Is there other pudding people?
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not one of them. Like, I know, I might have some pushback here, but chia pudding sucks. That shit sucks, and I know people love it. I know you guys probably love it. Ooh. I hate it so much. It is boogers.
Ignite a family, please do me a favor. Do not block Chinae. Just let her. We always say radical transparency. Let's let people be their own people. We'll be able. I don't know. Have I had chia pudding? Oh, I've had chia pudding.
Yeah, you've had chia pudding.
Sorry.
I'm just not a chia pudding person. This is a wellness trend I can't get behind. And you know what? I like overnight oats. So what?
Oh, that's funny. I hate overnight oats. Despise them.
You do?
Yeah, I don't do.
They're like slimy cold.
I can't do mushy. We have a thing always. So my food, but I thought you were like this type A. Well, I guess we all have our own versions of it, but I can't eat a sandwich if the bread is even a little bit soggy. Cannot do it. Okay. If the temperature for the food is not exactly what it was meant to be, it's now you might as well just throw it in the trash.
I'm the opposite.
See, I'm with you. I'm with you on this. You like it mushy?
I just don't care. I don't like it mushy. I just don't care. I'm just like, whatever. It's yummy. Like,
When I was little, when I was growing up, my mom would pack my lunch, and she would always pack really weird stuff. Like first day of fourth grade, I was at a new school. I'm like, I'm the new kid. Lunch is the time to make friends. I'm like, what's mom got for me in the lunch bag? I open up my lunch box, egg salad sandwich. Bad, mom, bad. Smells like a fart, really mushy, really embarrassing. I'm trying to make friends. I smell like a fart. I take the sandwich and I went and ate it in the toilet. I ate my sandwich on the toilet the first day of fourth grade because I was so embarrassed. But I was like, I like egg salad, but mom, what are you doing? It's just social suicide. But truly, the thing I used to do whenever I was little would ask my mom to make my sandwiches. She usually make like turkey and cheese or like ham and cheese. And I would ask her to put the mustard in between the meat and the cheese so it wouldn't touch the bread.
Okay.
Just a hot tip for your listeners here. A hot tip: put the bread, then the ham or turkey, then the mustard, and then the cheese, and then the other bread.
So the cheese is like a barrier. The cheese is like the dam that is preventing the mustard from messing up the bread.
Exactly. You got to have two semi-wet things with the wet thing in the middle, and then the dry things can stay really dry.
We're still talking about bread.
Cool. Is this the best or worst podcast episode you guys have ever done?
I'm trying, because I do the exact I mean, obviously I think what I do is what I hope a lot of people do this, or I just feel crazy right now, is like you take the mustard and you spread it on the bread.
Yeah, but then you don't like sogginess. So this is like, I'm trying to fix your problems here on the
You're amazing. This is my favorite episode to date. Like now I can make sandwiches and let them sit. My sandwiches have to be
all day
the moment they get made.
All day, baby.
Done.
You can eat that for dinner.
You've changed his life. So
there you go. There you go. Okay. I'm sorry, dear listeners. We're done talking about sandwiches.
We're done with
now.
the tangents. We're done with the tangents.
Yeah. Yeah. My whole life's a tangent.
I know. We will not be done. I will not let the tangents die. So you gave yourself freedom, and that sounds to me like Chinae 3.0. Like 1.0, I do whatever the fuck I want. 2.0, I'm super strict and restricted, and I lose the weight, and or like whatever. I found health and a way to be healthy. 3.0 was, hold up, the point of my life is not only to be healthy. The point of my life is to be healthy so I can enjoy my life.
Yeah, and I think my definition of wellness broadened. My definition of wellness became more whole, I think, because I was looking at wellness as my body, and now I see wellness as a much larger picture of like how we exist. So for me, if I'm stressed constantly about what I'm eating, what I'm not eating, feeling guilty, feeling shame, feeling restricted, feeling this, that's not wellness. That's a different thing. And I think we've conflated it with wellness. And the thing is I think like my new version of wellness is, how do you create the best environment for your mind, body, and soul with what you have in front of you and the resources that you have access to? Because I think a really big problem in the wellness industry now also is that it's super, super entwined with privilege. And, really, really, people feel like I can't afford to be well. I'm not white enough to be well. I'm not rich enough to be well. And I think the thing is so much of what we see as wellness now is actually just buying shit. Like it's really not about what things are in your morning adaptogen latte. The thing is like, did you get up and move your body in some way today, whether it's a 5-minute walk or an hour-long workout? Did you feed your body something that you needed, whether that was a green salad or whether that was In-N-Out? Like In-N-Out is wellness. I'm sorry, it is. So is like a hungover McDonald's Postmate order. Yep. This shit is wellness. And if anyone wants to fight me on that, email them, not me. I don't want to get your messages, but you know what I mean? Like wellness,
it's balance.
It's become too small. Like it's become too one thing, and it's boring.
It's so boring. I've been so bored.
It's so boring. It's so boring.
I just
You've
posted
gotta
about
change
this.
your life.
I just posted about this yesterday because I've been like not really posting on Instagram. I don't really go on and like see what people are doing anymore unless it's like one of my best friends on the East Coast with her 4 kids. Like I just don't care. I've muted almost everyone. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like you're so boring. Like why are you talking about the same shit? And I haven't yet gotten, I'm on my 3rd child and she was just born 10 months ago and I'm kind of coming out of that period and trying to find my own voice and footing again. This podcast has elevated me. This has inspired me. Having long, real, deep conversations with people inspires me. People show the full spectrum of who they are, unlike Instagram where it's just the highlight reel. And especially in the wellness community, it's all just the highlight reel. And you're right. It is just a bunch of shit that people fill their cupboards up with. And, I have a superfood company. I have the Velocity Superfood Company.
Yeah.
But the point of that was to simplify, to make it cheaper and easier, just to simplify. I don't want all these jars and 1 tablespoon of this and 1 teaspoon of this. That was the whole point, is like, just get 1 or 2 of these superfood bags and you're good. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need like a different for every day.
And also the thing is like, that is wellness to some people, and that to other people, it's not, it's not like, I think the problem with the industry at this point is that people don't feel the freedom to define this for themselves because they don't want to look intrinsically. Like I liken it to skincare. So people are always like, drop your skincare routine, which I talk about skincare a lot. So if you follow me or come to follow me after this podcast, I talk a lot about a lot of things, a lot of serious stuff. And then I talk a lot about like stuff like skincare and makeup and things like that. So I liken it to skincare. So one of my best skincare tricks is I don't use the same thing for every day. I wake up and I stand in the mirror. And first of all, I appreciate my face the way it is when I wake up. And I look at myself and am loving to myself, even if it feels forced, even if it feels fake. I look in the mirror and I say, yeah, sure, I might have like bags under my eyes, but I'm like, your hair looks really great. Or like, look at how clear your skin is. Or, what a nice tan you have, or whatever it is, just to show myself some appreciation. And then I look at what my skin is doing. I literally look and say, is my skin dry? Is it broken out? Is it this? So then I can formulate what I'm going to use for my face based on what my skin is actually doing that day, rather than just being like, here's 4 things I use, slap them on, move on.
Exactly.
And I know that takes a little extra time, but I do think we could use this in the same way with wellness, is saying looking at yourself and your life, your stress level, what you're going through, who you're going to see, and go, what does wellness mean to me today? How can I prescribe myself something that will make me well today? And that might be dinner out at a really fun spot with a friend and having whatever you want and ordering that dessert with no qualms. That might mean jumping on a bike at Soul Cycle and then going to Sweet Green. That might be wellness today. It might not look the same tomorrow. And I think
it could be a nap. It could be nothing. It could be literally just taking a nap and watching Netflix and getting takeout in your bed.
Absolutely. And I think the more we can go, slow down, what do I actually need? What do I actually need for myself? And I think that creates a healthier relationship with self too, because you're checking in more about kind of your needs, and also going, okay, not only am I able to more easily recognize my needs, but I'm also, I think it makes you more empathetic in looking at other people's needs too, of going, what might they need today? How can I support someone today, whether that be a significant other or a friend or a roommate or whoever it is.
I love that.
Without saying it, what you're proposing is for people to engage in more mindfulness,
intuition
in general in their life. And it's it's kind of funny, right? Like, mindfulness is the act of paying attention. Intuition is then listening to that intention and following through with it. And I think most of us don't stop. And you mentioned skincare, but we do this with fashion. We do it with TV shows. We do it with everything. It's like, what TV shows are you watching? Maybe for some people listening, whatever other people told you should watch because you have to. What books are you reading? Whatever other people told you need to read because you have to. What skincare products are you using? What everything, it's kind of what clothes are you wearing? Well, whatever they said was the right stuff to wear. And I think what that robs you of is the ability to pay attention to what you need.
To tune in.
And do that. Like maybe one day it is yoga clothes and the next day you want to wear a whole like suit or whatever. Like whatever it is that feels right based on how you want to show up to the world. And the stress reduction piece that you mentioned a bunch of times, I think follows from that as well. Because what happens is when we change what other people tell us to do, we're not paying attention to how we feel. And then if by some magical formula, the TV show they told us to watch and the book they told us to read and the clothes they told us to wear are making us feel good, then that's great. And it all fits. But if it doesn't, then what ends up happening is we get stuck and then we can't figure out why our bowels are messed up or we're not sleeping well.
Why we just feel off, and like you can't really put your finger on why you feel off, and it's because you're not tuning into what your body actually needs and is communicating to you. You've completely cut off. Imagine not being able to speak and say what you need and feel. That's what your body's doing every single day when you don't listen to it. When it's telling you, I actually want to eat that thing, but you're eating that and my body needs that. When you go to a place of intuition and tuning into what your body actually needs and wants, it's already communicating it to you. It's already trying to give you hints, whether it be your face and it being a little dry, or if you're getting a yeast infection because you're wearing yoga pants every day. Your body's trying to yell and tell you what it needs and wants, and you're blocking it out and listening to what influencers say or Well and Good or an article or the news or your best friend. Tune inward. What is your body yelling for you to listen to? And the cool thing is, like you said, it's a little bit harder. It's actually not harder. It's just in the very beginning, you have to now have a new practice of listening to yourself, looking in the mirror and tuning into what it's already telling you. And then it becomes a practice and really easy because you have that relationship with yourself.
Yeah. And this is like a message that I always tell people on Instagram. And this is like throughout my content, something I try to like say in a lot of different ways, because I find that you have to say things 30 times for anything to stick with anybody. But we all have the opportunity to recreate ourselves every single day and every moment. And so people often feel like they have to do X, Y, and Z to create change in their life. Or they have to wait till Monday, or they have to wait till next month, summer, winter, after the baby, when my kids graduate, when I finally have a boyfriend. We put all these constraints around change. And the thing is the recreation of self can happen at any moment. I can change the way I live my life in the next 30 seconds. Like you can make a decision that shifts everything. Yep. You can choose something different for yourself. And the thing that is so magical is the thing that you can change the fastest is your mind. Mm-hmm. And so for me, controlling your thinking is the root of all change. The root of change isn't changing behavior, it's changing how you perceive behavior. So it's not about, I'm not going to eat that donut. I'm going to eat this healthier thing so I feel better. It's going, I want to feel really good. And I'm choosing to feel good. And so whatever action that is, doesn't matter. You're choosing to feel good. And the thing is like, we all have that opportunity every single day, every morning. And that's what I actually love about, I love makeup and I love clothing, because the thing is like, you can recreate yourself every day with that. You can be a persona. You can say, I need strength today, so I'm going to wear something or do something that makes me feel strong. I want to feel soft today. I want to feel relaxed today. How can you do this with your external things too? And that does inform your internal things. But yeah, people have so many hangups about how they can change their life. And I'm like, literally, you can do it in 30 seconds. You want to change your life, change it in 30 seconds. You can do it, because every single choice we make, whether it's where our brain goes when we're bored, what we do when we're not content, the work that we choose to engage in, the projects that we agree to take or not take, the people that we want to have in our life, the friends we want to have to text, all of these things are little notches on the pathway of putting ourselves somewhere else. And so one little mini change could offset your entire life.
Amen. I love it.
Did I just become a Southern preacher?
Preach.
Cool.
Can
My
the
mom's
choir,
a pastor,
the choir start
so
singing now? Wait, really?
my mom's a pastor in Texas. So maybe she's not really, she's Methodist. So it's like real low key Christian. It's not like hyped up. So she would never go on an impassioned speech. It would be much more serious.
Okay. Well, you learn and you grow, and we all grow beyond what our parents had.
That's true.
I want to get us to, so we asked 5 questions of each of our guests, and people tell us it's their favorite part of the podcast. And so we'd love to get you in on these. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. What is the best advice that you've ever received?
So there's this Mark Twain quote. I don't know Mark Twain personally because he's super dead, but this is the thing that helps me the most out of anything I've ever learned. And I know for a fact that someone listening, they're going to think of this every day and it's going to help them. Can make that guarantee. So Mark Twain has said a quote that if your job is to eat a frog, eat it early in the morning, eat it first thing. And if your job is to eat 2 frogs, eat the bigger one first. And that just helps me on a productivity level so much of like, do the thing that you dread early in the morning, do it first, because that stress in your day will lessen and the entire day will be more productive and more happy.
Love that.
I love it. I'm sorry. I don't know which part of that advice to laugh at the way you told it to me, but I love it. I love it. And I'm actually probably one of those people who tries to push off the uncomfortable things longer. So I'll start eating the bigger frog first.
You know what? And you go, honey, you got to eat your frog.
The big one.
Yeah, the biggest one.
The slimiest one.
Okay.
He's saying, he uses frogs because I think it's disgusting and it's something you really don't want to do. But, it's a delicacy in some countries.
I love it.
Cooked. But yeah, who's counting? What is your proudest moment to date?
I think my proudest moment to date is I have a really great team around me of women that I get to also help them fund their lives. Through my work, I get to also support them doing their dreams and going forward. And so I always wanted to be a support to women. And this is a very, very super tangible way to do that.
That's awesome. What has been your hardest moment?
I think my hardest moment was just reconciling things with my family. And I had a little struggle with mental health a few years ago. I was in a bad relationship. So struggling with family, mental health, going through kind of in therapy, the things that I was working through, because I had to really reconcile at that point that I was a strong person that had problems. And I didn't really want to admit that. It's a hard thing to, when you have had to have it all under control, and in this moment you don't have it all under control. That was a real reckoning for me, but it made me so much of a better person. Yeah.
It's another one of those things like we talked about. It gives you freedom once you get to the other side of it.
Totally.
So we talked about all the work that you do and everything that you put out there, and on the wellness and makeup and everything else that you take care of. To do this work well, to do any work well, you have to take care of yourself. What are some of the self-care rituals that you have in place to make sure that you can show up as your best on a regular basis?
I make sure that, first of all, I do projects that I'm passionate about. I love the work that I do. And every day when I get feedback or messages from people, it really gives me energy to do the work that I do. Sometimes it can be draining because I get about 300 messages a day. Some of them are really heavy. People write into the podcast with really heavy stuff, and reading all of that can be really difficult, but also I feel so energized from it. And it is a form of my self-care, is talking to the audience in which I engage with, because to find connection with people that you don't know and to get to a place of trust with strangers, I really can't ask for anything more. And so that really fills me up. I love taking a bath. And I love spending time with my boyfriend, Craig. We really do not look at our phones when we're together. We just have fun. And we always are kind of doing little adventures and things like that. And we've made that a part of kind of our self-care as a couple. So that to me really makes me feel fresh to move forward in the work that I do.
I love that. Taking a real break. And then lastly, this podcast is called Ignited. What ignites you?
People, 100%. People are my passion. People are my dream. Like I knew from, I'll tell you a quick story. So when I was 8 years old, I was in a church play and I was a newscaster in the church play, whatever. But I remember after the church play, this old man from my church kneeled on the ground. He happened to be my mom's gynecologist, which is not related to the story. But he kneeled down and he looked in my eyes and he said, "Little girl, you're going to talk to a lot of people one day." And I remember that sinking in so deeply, even as a child. Like I didn't know what that meant, but I knew that it meant something for me. And so my 8-year-old brain filed that away as something that was true about my future. And the fact that like that is still what I get to do, that is still truly my passion, that is the opportunity that's like in front of me, like that makes me feel ignited for sure.
That's beautiful. And here you are doing it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it with you guys. Pretty great.
That's awesome. I love it. What's next? I mean, obviously people can find you at Chinae Alexander on Instagram, and we'll have that below in the show notes. What is one next big, amazing thing that's coming up that you want people to know about you?
Yeah, so I just launched my own podcast about 10 or 11 weeks ago. It's an advice-based podcast. Listeners write in with their problems on the website presssendpodcast.com, and they can choose to be anonymous, but we talk about everything from sex to dating to relationships to body image to diversity, anything you could ever ask. Talk about family, and I bring on a cool guest and we answer advice questions as friends, not in place of therapy, but really in place of like, a group of girls answering your questions, or in many cases, the guys. So that is something I'm really excited about. It's called Press Send Podcast. And it's been the most fulfilling thing. I know you guys love doing this so much. It has been the most fulfilling project of my career, just because most things I do, I love the end product, and the process is not as fun. This, I love the process as much as I love the end product. And I really feel like it's just a way to really connect with people in a long form format, which you guys know so well. So Press and Podcast, and then just working on a bunch of different projects this year. This is a growth year for me for sure. So definitely stay tuned. You can follow me at Chinae Alexander. And yeah, I'm so happy to be here with you guys, and thank you for having me.
Thanks for chatting. And also the beginning was so light and fun, and it's just nice to just like not talk about serious stuff sometimes, but then get to the heart of it all. So we can be very serious. We've got a lot going on, a lot of, 3 kids, businesses, we do take ourselves very seriously sometimes. So it's important for us to just laugh and talk about turkey and mayo and partying and get your condiments straight, guys. You just changed our lives.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for listening to the Ignited podcast.
Love you all.
So
see you next week.
Happy to have you along for this ride. Please go and subscribe to this. Leave us a review. We love hearing from you. And if you want more, don't forget to go to ignited.com, where all the podcast episodes are available with show notes and so many of the little details and links from each one of these interviews. And you can look at all the future events that we have going on, all the things that make Ignited so special, even beyond this recording. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.